This is not rocket science. I need to have a backup to the 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 backup. Like I cannot allow my shoulder or my knee take me out of my game. Like really? Like people have 100 times worse situations than I do. Like real, real health challenges, real life challenges, real relationship challenges, real financial challenges. Dude, like, do not let a shoulder and a knee, a bum knee, like take you out of your mental, emotional, physical, spiritual game. Like, you're an entrepreneur, you figure it out. You've been working on your EQ for 4 years now, 5 years now. Let's apply and implement some of that resilience and emotional agility that I have been working on for 4 or 5 years now. Like this is jujitsu. Life is jujitsu. Life just threw me an arm bar and a knee bar on me. Okay, well, how do I get out of it? How do I work through it? How do I navigate it? Welcome to the EQ Gangster podcast, where you will learn practical tools to grow your mental and emotional health and intelligence to be the best version of yourself, both at work and at home. It is real, raw, and transformational. The journey of emotional growth isn't easy, but it's worth it. I believe in you. EQ Gangsters, what is going on, y'all? What? Okay, so this episode is going to be about the mental and emotional effects and impacts of my injury. I got an injury a couple weeks ago in jujitsu. I talked about it the previous episode, and uh, so we were doing it's called King of the Mat. It's a King of the Mat drill in jujitsu where and they do it by size and weight class and stuff. So I'm with all the big boys now. The, I'm also the oldest guy in the gym, so I'm dealing with guys my size or bigger and a couple that are smaller. Still, everyone's a big boy. Everyone is at least 15 years younger than me. and so anyway, so we're doing King of the Mat, and there's 6 of us in a group, and there's one dude in the middle, one dude who gets in the middle with them. The other ones are around the ring, so to speak, that section of the mat, and the 2 guys are trying to either push each other out of the ring or get them to put their hands on the ground. So trips, uh, slap downs, snap downs, whatever the way is that you want to get somebody on the ground or get them on the ground. So trip them, throw them, that kind of stuff. And it's awesome. It's great. It's also very intense because it's 1v1, one big dude going against another big dude. I mean, in my group, right? My daughter, obviously she's with folks her size and stuff. So anyway, I've got a collar. It's called a collar tie. If you're on YouTube right now, you can, I've got one hand wrapped around a guy's neck, the other hand it's kind of wrapped around the guy's tricep. Or if I can get an underhook, which is kind of coming underneath their armpit with my left hand. So and of course they're trying to do the same thing back to me. Well, I am pushing this guy kind of out of the ring. I've got some momentum. I'm pushing this guy out of the ring. And as I'm kind of doing that final shove with this collar tie and this one, I think I had an overhook with his tricep, or I've got his tricep, and I'm kind of extending my arm out to do that final push. He did a gable grip kind of around my shoulder and kind of pulled it down around my arm by my shoulder super hard as I do a final shove. So just kind of timing. And immediately I'm like, oh, dude, I felt it. Something in my shoulder just was not feeling great. So I'm like, then we had live rolls, and I couldn't live roll because I was already feeling my shoulder, and I even went in to get it checked. And They did an X-ray, and one of my buddies is one of my best friends is a radiologist. He checked it out. He said, "Man, it looks like it's stretched, but I don't see any tear or anything like that." Now, it wasn't an MRI or a CAT scan either, but he's like, "Dude, you still probably want to take 4 to 6 weeks. Shoulders don't heal necessarily super quickly. Plus, when you're my age, so man, I tell you, it is. Oh, and I've been walking every morning when I haven't been traveling. Well, even when I've been traveling, I've been walking too. Not every day that I've been traveling, but let's say 3 days a week. When I traveled, I was still getting some walks in. When I'm not traveling, I'm getting almost daily. And well, I did 2 days in a row of walks. Well, day three, something with my knee started to act up. I'm like, dude, really? What is going on here? Now, I know that I need to lose a lot of lbs. If I can lose some lbs, that will help tremendously with my knees and joints and back and all that stuff. Well, at a minimum, it's kind of like my knee is kind of shutting down my walking, my shoulder shutting down my jujitsu, and man, I tell you, the last couple days. So now it's been probably 2 or 3 weeks with my shoulder. It's kind of messed with my mojo a little bit because as you all know, jujitsu is one of my therapy, my outlets for mental, emotional, physical, spiritual health, and not being able to do that has not been fun. Thankfully, my daughter's still loves rolling, so there's been a couple days where I've just gone with her and like just videoed her during her rolls and videoed some of them my other buddies that are rolling and stuff because I love watching the game film and learning what moves they're doing so I can try and incorporate some of those moves into my game. And then what's also been great is my gym, Flow State Jiu-Jitsu, the professor, Chad, and his wife, Jade, awesome, awesome couple, and a great gym, bought a new cold plunge. They had a barrel before that you had to put a bunch of bags of ice in. Well, they bought like a legit self-cleaning, ice plunge, cold plunge. And so I've been able to do that, a few times for, get 5 to 10 minutes a pop and get, because it's great for recovery. Well, I think it's also going to be helpful for my shoulder. So that's been great. Even in spite of all that, I will tell you the the mental and emotional and physical impact of me not being able to do my walks these last couple days and jujitsu now for it's probably going on 2 to 3 weeks now. Man, I just found myself like yesterday, all day I was kind of just and the thing is, in the moment I wasn't aware of it. It wasn't until today till I realized kind of maybe doing some reflection like, "Hey, what's going on here?" Oh, which that's a huge victory. Side note, I have been like 3 weeks consistent with my journaling. Y'all, I can't tell you, it's been game changer. Game changer. That'll be another episode maybe. Yesterday, I was just moping around. Like I just felt super lethargic. Like it was kind of like I felt like depressed almost. Just probably feeling again, not conscious. I wasn't conscious or aware of it until today, but like just kind of looking back, I'm like, man, I think I was like depressed yesterday, feeling sorry for myself, feeling down, feeling defeated, feeling bummed out, rejected, frustrated, angry. Like, dude, like really, like my knee and my shoulder, what gives? And I was like, "Okay, I've got a great backup plan for jujitsu, which is walking." Man, like, how are you gonna hurt yourself walking? Like, that's, you know, no, there's no way you're gonna hurt. And sure enough, like my knee, right? And so that was just my backup plan got affected and impacted. So yesterday, like I said, moping around and not just moping around, I took probably 2 or 3 naps. I ate terribly, which compounded how I how I felt poorly, and And so today I'm like, look, dude, this is not rocket science. I need to have a backup to the 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 backup. Like I cannot allow my shoulder or my knee take me out of my game. Like really? Like people have 100 times worse situations than I do. Like real, real health challenges, real life challenges, real relationship challenges, real financial challenges. Dude, like, do not let a shoulder and a knee, a bum knee, like take you out of your mental, emotional, physical, spiritual game. Like, you're an entrepreneur, you figure it out. You've been working on your EQ for 4 years now, 5 years now. Let's apply and implement some of that resilience and emotional agility that I have been working on for 4 or 5 years now. Like this is jujitsu. Life is jujitsu. Life just threw me an arm bar and a knee bar on me. Okay, well, how do I get out of it? How do I work through it? How do I navigate it? How do I face it? How do I deal with it? What should be my mental and emotional and spiritual mindset with a bum shoulder and a bum knee that are both healing and God willing will be fine here soon? What do I do in the meantime? How can I continue to work on my physical fitness, my mental fitness, my emotional fitness, my spiritual fitness, in spite of, a shoulder situation and some knee pain. So that's what it's really making me think through. And thankfully, man, super thankful that I was only kind of down and bummed out for a day and not a week, a month, a week, multiple days of bad decisions, or a week of bad decisions, or a month of bad decisions. Like, no, okay, I had a day of bad decisions. All right, what can I learn? Oh, guess what? I was probably a little depressed, a little bummed out, a little disappointed, a little sad, a little frustrated, a little angry. All right, all right, let's process it. Let's work through that stuff. Again, approach it like jujitsu. I should not. This analogy, I was talking to one of my coaching clients yesterday. Actually, he also does jujitsu, and there was a situation that I was coaching him through. He was due to a lot of different situation circumstances, he put a truckload of pressure on himself. And unsurprisingly, he was very overwhelmed. And so I'm like, okay, dude, let's work through this here. How can you look at these 10 things that you have on your plate? What are some different COAs, courses of action? He's also a military guy, former military guy. What are some different courses of action to face, address, think about your current situation? So, boom. But the analogy that I used was, and he's been doing jujitsu for 3 or 4 years now, so he's a blue belt. And I said, look, as upper belts, should we let a spazzy white belt affect how we roll? Should we match their spazzy white beltness? No, we should bring them to our level of calmness and peace, not rise to their level of spazzing and angst and anxiousness and fight, flight, or freeze mentality. We should be bringing them to that place of rolling, being able to roll from a place of peace and calmness and focus and presence and mindfulness, not those other things. And it's funny, right? Because I was coaching this guy through his situation. I'm like, I need to I need to apply this stuff to my own life. Again, life throw me an arm bar and a knee bar. Do I tap out and say, okay, well, screw this? I'm like what's the alternative? To not do life, to not roll, to not do PT? No, it's how. How do I do it? Well, number one is, what are all these emotions telling me? Recognize, acknowledge them, validate and affirm my own emotions, which we should be doing for other people too, by the way. We should also be doing it for ourselves. How can we validate and affirm our own emotions? Because they're real. Emotions are real. They're not facts. They're not truth. And they're not long term. so that they're not our identity. So, but they're real. So let me affirm and validate my emotions. Okay, got it. I see why I'm sad and frustrated and upset because I've uh, I'm not able to do jujitsu right now, and I'm not able to walk right now. So what are my other options? Does that mean there's no other options for PT? No, it's what are the other options? So anyway, but validating my emotions, like, yes, I can see why I would feel that way. If anyone else was in my situation, I would empathize with them, say, man, yeah, it's a bummer that you can't roll and you can't walk right now. I, I say walk. You can't, you know what I'm saying? Do walking for PT. I can walk, but like it hurts my knee every time I do a long walk. So validate and affirm my emotions and then be curious, right? Okay, so what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? And how can I continue to develop my curiosity, my emotional agility, my resilience, my my critical thinking, my empathy? Also, how can I be more empathetic and understanding for myself, but also for other people that are in this situation versus saying, "Hey, suck it up, put a band-aid on it." It's the older I get, the less I'm able to just suck it up and put a band-aid on it. I need to the older I get, the more aware I need to be of all aspects of my life, but also my physical body. Because I don't recover the way I recovered when I was 20. So I need to pay attention to how I'm treating my body and what I'm eating and how I'm sleeping and what I'm doing for PT, that kind of thing. So but it was, man, it was very eye opening to me just how my physical situation kind of took me out. Now this was interesting too for a day. It took me out for yesterday and emotionally I got all emotional and up on my feels and stuff. But this is interesting too. Andrew Huberman, he's the Stanford neuroscientist guy. He's got a ton of great content out there. One of the things he said is anytime you get mentally or emotionally stuck, go to your body as a solution. Now, I will say with my faith background, I like to throw in pray about it and let me read some Bible verses also to give me an eternal perspective so that I don't get focused on the the nanosecond of eternity that I'm currently in right now. So let me pray about it and let me get some bigger perspective. So I like to throw that in there, but also, so then we have got some kettlebells in here. So today I'm like, no, I'm not going to be moping around. What can I do? I can do some planks. I can do some light kettlebell work, and let me start doing some PT. And that concept of going to your body as a situation, as a solution for your mind and your emotions, I thought was brilliant. And it's easy. It's simple and it's quick. I mean, it could be as simple as knocking out some push-ups. Me, I got to watch out for my shoulder with push-ups and stuff. But anyway, it's and the other thing too that I heard, I watched a video from some physiologist or something that this lady said that when you exercise, your muscles secrete some something that like is like it's like what was the analogy that I got? It's kind of like it's like greasing the skids for your brain. It's like it releases this whatever chemical combination that like is super healthy for your brain just by doing exercise. Like, okay, well, that doesn't cost anything. I don't have to pay anybody. I don't have to like you know what I mean? And you can do it at your skill level and get enough of your blood pumping where it's like boom, and it changes your literally changes your physiology. So that's another thing to throw out there. So I did that today. I busted out just some kettlebells. I'm gonna do some a little bit more here. I'm gonna do some more planks and stuff just to keep working on my core, build my core while I'm out from jujitsu because jujitsu is a lot of core and think about some solutions to acknowledge my emotions, acknowledge so if I get hit again with another wave of like, man, I'm bummed, I'm really upset that I can't do jujitsu and do my long walks and stuff. Acknowledge those emotions, right? And give myself permission to feel those emotions and then do something about it. Let me go pick up some kettlebells. Let me go do some planks. Let me go, do something else that I can do physically that can help, you know, you know, get the blood pumping and get some stuff released in the brain that's positive, healthy, and productive for the brain to kind of get me in a better mindset. And another thing too that I found super helpful for me is practicing gratitude. Practicing gratitude. So now I'm being a total hypocrite. Yesterday, well, I did practice gratitude because like one that's part of my journaling. When I journal, my first phase is thanking God for whatever I'm thankful for that day. So that I do practice gratitude every single day. But I did it in the morning and I didn't get hit with these emotions until later on in the day. So it didn't kick in. It's not enough of a muscle memory where it just kicked in and I started practicing gratitude. So that's where I'm being a hypocrite on. That's an area that I still have to work on and develop my own EQ. That's another great thing to work on is practice gratitude. Practice gratitude. How 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 good are you at practicing gratitude? Where are you at in that journey? I'm getting so much better. Like again, 3 weeks every day of practicing gratitude in the morning while I'm doing my journaling. And again, it's not fully sunk in as a battle drill yet in my own life, muscle memory yet, because of what I'm sharing with you with how it went yesterday. I did it in the morning again, but not in the middle of my emotions. So practicing gratitude is another really good one. Another idea too that I have done before, didn't do it yesterday. I have done it before, is encouraging somebody else. So not only practicing gratitude, but now act on that gratitude. Send somebody an encouraging text. Send them a quote, encouraging quote, a motivational quote. Send them a message. Call them up. Man, that's also something that immediately changes my mindset. Cheesy quote, but I think it's super powerful. The more you serve others, the smaller your problems get. The more you serve others, the smaller your problems get. So that was another idea. Another idea that's helped me out too in the past is practice creativity. Practice creativity. Right now, I'm working on an emotional intelligence coaching certification course for coaches to become emotionally intelligent coaches. Because just because you're a coach, an executive coach, a life coach, does not mean you're emotionally intelligent. Trust me, I've met quite a few. So I'm creating a course for coaches to become emotional intelligent coaches. And and man, I tell you, just being in that creative space where I'm creating my systems and the course and the modules and all that kind of stuff, man, that gets me in a great headspace. Mentally and emotionally, it puts me in a great headspace. So that's another idea. So those are 3 or 4 or 5 different ideas that when you get hit with your feels, and of course the one that I is go to is my gate, gorilla aped, GAPED, gorilla aped. G is gratefulness, A is acknowledge your feelings and emotions, P give yourself permission to feel those emotions, E is express those emotions through journaling, and D is discuss those thoughts and emotions with somebody that's a trusted advisor, somebody that's safe. So that's always a great go-to as well. I just wanted to share a handful of thoughts and ideas from my recent kind of little valley I went through, my little mini valley I went through, and how I'm kind of working through and processing some of these different things. Thank you for being on this journey with me, going through this together. Emotionally healthy people help heal other people emotionally. Emotionally healthy leaders create emotionally healthy cultures and organizations, which lead to and creates maximize results, outcomes, performance, and engagement.